What is good? It's me, your friendly neighbor Nerd the Babo, and I am once again podcasting in the trenches. So I'm not actually vending this time. It is just me going around Charlotte Minicon. I'm actually getting to know the community, the writers, everybody who will come out today. Today I'm here with Karlton Clay. Karlton Clay is the author of the Chozen series, Titan Warriors. Well, you know what? I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about it. So say what up to the people and tell them a little bit more about your work.
What's up, everybody? This is Karlton T. Clay. I am the writer and creator of the Chozen comic book series. Also, I am the author of Titan Warriors, Alignment of Power. Chozen is about, starts off with Aaron. He's a vigilante. He's also a locator, doing his part to try to stop crime in his city. Then we are introduced to Camilla, who has fire, but she discovers she has fire abilities. And each issue, you meet a group of people that are working to enhance their powers. So we have 4 issues out now, and we're working on issue 5 as we speak. With Titan Warriors Alignment of Power, it's about a group of teams who must come together and work together, and they each have a piece of armor that gives them abilities so they can stop this ultimate evil that's in the world.
Feels like very Ronin Warriors type deal, like with it, man. I like the setup for Titan Warriors, because I know like team dynamics are such great ways to do storytelling, and having them have different little pieces of armor that give them power. Where did it feel like? Where did the inspiration or so come from?
So I'm a big Power Rangers head. I love Power Rangers. I'm very inspired by Power Rangers. So I wanted to do something Power Rangers-esque, but I want to include something. So each piece of armor is actually from the Bible, is the armor of God. So each person has a different piece from the armor of God. So that's the inspiration that I drew from for Titan Warriors.
Oh wow, that's so amazing. Again, drawing it back to your face is something that really is like pertinent to the writer and like where you come from, like even a piece of yourself. So where can anybody like find you, find the work, or how can they get in touch with you?
So the best way is to go to our website, thevpntv.com, sign up for the mailing list, sign up, subscribe to the page. You get all the information. I send out weekly newsletters, let you know everything that we got going on.
All right, so I already signed up for my newsletter, so go ahead and visit that website, and I'll put it up in the link in the description or so, and we'll definitely get you guys connected, all right? Thank you so very much for your time, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to get that out of the way, but I want to do like a full intro or so as well. I am here at Charlotte Minicon. I am immersing myself within the comic community here. This is put on by Heroes Convention. That's like Charlotte's big comic book convention that goes through every year or so. My homie Botter, shout out to Botter again. He normally always comes out to Heroes Con, and this is like I said, my little first soiree into the Heroes Con's like world. But yeah, it's really dope. It's wall-to-wall comics, wall-to-wall vendors, wall-to-wall artists, man. I'm so excited. Main thing, how you doing? You all right? Main reason why I'm here is I finally got to meet one of my favorite internet family members, Stephanie Williams. I'm gonna get to talk with her a little bit later, but I'm gonna sit down and talk with her. But I got to get her newest set of comic books that's come out. She has done the History of DC, Dakota Incident. If you guys go pick that up, they're trying to get to 100K on sales, 100,000 books sold. It is one of the best-selling books out right now for Black comic books currently. As you heard, I just picked up Chozen, but I also picked up her other comics, Threads of Destiny, a Star Trek story about O'Hara, and as well, she also has out her Nubia comics, her Temporal comics. I got her to sign Temporal issue number 1. I got her to sign her OG comic, Living Heroes, and that was really dope. But yeah, I'm gonna sit and talk with her, talk about a few things as well. But I'm just walking around, looking at the deals, looking at the vendors that they have. I brought my camera as well, so I'm gonna take some pictures. I'll probably try and post some stuff up. This was really just gonna be like a solo Stephanie interview, but I am enamored by everything that's going on, and I'm gonna also get some more stuff with more people, man. So I'm gonna see how the convention's going. I only have batteries. I don't have my little power pack today to kind of keep it continually going. So we're gonna be chopping this up with people when we get them. All right. Oh my God, they got graded comics. They have graded comics. I need to stay away from them. All right, I'll be back when I get somebody to talk to. All right. All right, I am back. I told you I'll get back when I got somebody to talk with, and boy, do I have somebody to talk with. I am standing in front of the man, the legend, Chuck Brown. And we are here. We are here at Charlotte Comic Con, and I get to talk with one of the men that I've been literally reading for quite some time, looking at their work, looking at everything. I'm getting an omnibus of Bitterroot right now. But if you guys are not familiar with Chuck and his work, I'm going to let him tell you guys a little bit about himself. And again, I don't know how you're not, but still, I want to let him tell you about it. So tell you about what he gets to do. So say what up to the people. And
what's up, people? My name is Chuck Brown. I am a comic book writer. I've written for Image, DC Comics, Marvel Comics, IDW, Dynamite Comics, and I do a lot of creator-owned stuff like Bitterroot, Flawed, on the Stump. And I'm just a creator who loves comics and just try to put the best stuff out that I can.
All right, so of course I got into your work with Bitterroot, and I got into a lot of other things you've been able to do. Like I actually sat down and kind of gave myself a bit of a crash course when it came. Once I started reading Bitterroot, I was like, okay, let me see what else he has out. But tell people about things like On the Stump or Flawed, and I know you have the Aquaman series up here as well. Tell them about some of the work that you've been getting into as of late.
Right. So like Bitterroot, a lot of my stuff is about what's kind of going on in the real world with us today and our past and how we kind of deal with it today. On the Stump is a world of politicians. They don't debate. They fight like WWE or MMA. They decide policy that way. It's a very high-octane, powerful book, a lot of violence, a lot of action, but it's also a reflection of what's going on in our world today with politics. Flawed is a world where psychiatrist by day, vigilante by night. She listens to your problems. There's evil people in your life. She takes them out, but she gets caught up in this cabal of basically human traffickers that you have to take out and deal with them and deal with that situation.
That is wild. So I've been intrigued by On the Stump because, again, professional wrestler. So having them duke it out to settle the conflict and stuff has been such a refreshing take on how politics really is looking nowadays. And I'm super intrigued by Flawed. How did you get into, or what was the inspiration for Flawed when it came to something like that?
Going to therapy, honestly, and also honestly questioning therapy and just questioning myself and just looking around at us as individuals, and I just kind of this one common phrase, I think, that we're all flawed and broken, but together we can kind of heal, right? You got to kind of come together and find common ground and, defeat the forces of evil, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what the inspiration was for Flawed. So.
Wow, that is amazing, because again, that is something big, coming together and defeating all the things that are trying to take us out, that is dope. As I said, I'm getting an omnibus for Bitterroot right now. I've been wanting to get this in my collection for quite some time. So, yes, I'm really excited. Where can anybody, if they want to get in, get into more of your work or so, or just find you on the internet, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Substack. I'm Chuck Brown on Substack. That's the best place to find me. That's where I post the most often. And if you join my newsletter, you get more insight and information about what's going on.
All right, so again, check him out on Substack, get on that newsletter, and like I said, stay up with him because, again, he's always working. He's putting out something. So, yeah, so thank you so very much for your time, man. And again, yeah. All right, I'm back to the podcast in the trenches. Up next, I'm talking with Damian Becton. I messed up at the first part of the interview with him, and we kind of got just no audio because I didn't hit record right. But he is a writer, and he has been writing for a couple years. He is a dope author. So go into the middle of this damn interview. I'll try and backtrack on a couple of things that he said to me in there. Hope you guys enjoy. All right.
That you can check out.
Okay, so tell us about the books that you have currently at the table. I see some really dope titles, but you told me about a couple of them. One, Try Not to Die, and Worlds Away. So tell us about those two books.
All right, Try Not to Die is it's a horror comic. Shout out to my dad. We used to watch old 80s and 90s horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
And this is kind of a love letter to that. We used to watch things like Child's Play, Children of the Corn, but the concept of Try Not to Die is characters, or quote characters from old 80s and 90s horror movies, the ones who got killed, they get a second chance to live, but they have to play a game. They're forced to play a game where they take on each other's killers and monsters, and so you get some.
Oh, wow.
You get characters from Scream, you get characters from Halloween, you get quote characters from Halloween, and I got Get Out in there, Shaun of the Dead, a bunch of different type of characters.
Nice, yeah. I'm a big movie buff, love the horror genre, so I definitely would love all those references in there. So you were telling me Worlds Away is like Power Rangers meets Iron Man, right?
There's God of War. So
God of War, yeah.
So it's shout out, and again, a lot of my stories are influenced by my family, my friends, things I grew up. But it's about a mother and a daughter, and the mother and daughter they're in a futuristic type universe. They have these Iron Man, Power Ranger type suits, and they crash land on an alien planet. But that alien planet is like a Lord of the Rings, Dark Souls, mystical, magical type planet. Okay. And mom and daughter don't get along too much, but they love each other very much. So they got to fight each other. They fight monsters, and they got to get off that planet.
Wow. Okay. So that gives me full have you ever seen Lost in Space?
Yes.
Yeah, especially reboot of Lost in Space, it gives me that vibe or whatever. Have your family that's at odds, but you got to survive this together.
Yeah, that's the only way. Yeah, man. I mean, but it's shout out to my mom, because that's really what the story is about, is what would my mom do if she was in this situation, and she would literally do anything to keep her kids alive. So.
Wow, okay. So I see Chopping Blades up here, and tell me about it. This is a good-ass cover. I love it.
Hey, I appreciate that. Shout out to Jacoby Salcedo, who did the covers. Chopping Blades is Twisted Metal meets Final Fantasy meets hip-hop music.
Okay.
So if you don't know what Chopping Blades mean you're riding on a car. You're riding in a car with 20-inch rims and candy paint. So it's magical demolition derbies. All the characters in here, they're wizards, they're witches. They live in a world like us, but there's a demolition derby circuit where they trick out their magical cars with spells, with runes, with mithril and stuff, and they fight dragons, they fight each other, and there's hip-hop. But instead of regular cars, they got old school Cadillacs and old school Chevys and slabs, and they riding on 24-inch rims. Okay. So yeah.
I love that. So being a Floridian, I know, being a part of car culture and shit, from the South, my brother used to have an old white Monte Carlo, a 1980 Monte Carlo. You got the bass in the back. I wrote my first kind of draft of a comic book called White Monte Carlo in dedication to him, so I get your ties to your family and everything. So it's yeah.
My brother had a 1980 Caprice Classic, a Caprice Classic with 24-inch rims. So that's the main joint right there.
I love it. So you were telling me that you won the 2021 Mad Cave contest. Tell us about that experience, man.
Yeah, that was pretty life-changing. I wouldn't say life-changing monetarily, but it really did. That opportunity gave me the confidence to pursue comic books. It's when it happened, I literally started crying. I was like, hey, I get to write a comic book that's going to be in comic book shops. But from there, I said, if this comic book thing is ever going to happen, then it has to happen right now. And ever since then, I've been just making comic books and trying to put stories in the world.
Man, I love that for you, man. So where can we find you and where can we find your work at so we can kind of pick up stuff and kind of see what's coming down the pipeline?
Absolutely. You can check me out on DamienBecton.com. That's DAMIEN, Becton, BECTON.com. And you can hit me up on Instagram. It's all one word, Becton, at Becton on Instagram.
All right, thank you so very much, man. I'm going to definitely pick up a couple of comics now, so I'm going to leave you guys. And I'll be back when I get my next person that we're going to talk to, all right? All righty, I am back again with Podcasting in the Trenches, and I have two authors here, and I want to have them introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about their work. So firstly, we have...
My name is Henry Vogel. Back in the 1980s, I wrote, created, and initially... co-published The Southern Knights, a superhero team set in Atlanta, and The Aristocratic Extraterrestrial Time-Traveling Thieves, X-Theives for short, which was our really fun, zany, science fantasy time travel story that I used to lampoon a lot of the subjects of the 80s, including some of the comic book issues and also just cultural issues like New Coke. And then after many years off from writing, I returned to writing in 2012, writing science fiction, and I've since published, mostly self-published or small press published, 25 books, I think. I don't know. I can't keep track anymore.
Wow. That's really awesome. So I know as well, John was telling me that you guys just kind of were like, okay, we want to just write a comic, and you got the artists, like said, all like outsourced for it or everything. So tell me about how writing back in the days, like back in the 80s, is different than like how you would like try and get this done now.
I think the biggest difference is that, are you familiar with the terms Marvel style and DC style? Okay, so I wrote Marvel style, which was I wrote a plot description. It was usually only 3 pages or 4 at the most. That would have, in general, the breakdown was you dedicated a paragraph to every page, and generally, if possible, a sentence to every panel describing what was going on. And then after that went through editing approval, it went off to the artist. And then it was up to the artist to lay it out, choose the viewpoint angles and things like that. In my opinion, it gave the artists a lot more creative input into the book. And I personally enjoyed writing that way. These days, almost everything I think is done full script, where you provide all the description of what's going on and the dialogue and everything in advance. And what I ended up doing, it was like the artist would draw they would pencil the book, and then I would get the penciled pages, and I would script from the pages, which meant that it was possible for me as the scripter with my scripting hat on to react to the artwork that the artist had put out there.
Okay.
That way I didn't end up describing usually what was happening in the artwork, and on top of that I would be inspired by what the artist had put down there. Sometimes I would also find myself faced with a really big piece of open space. I was like, oh God, I have to put something there. And some of my best writing came when I was trying to cut down on the white space that was showing on the table, where I would have to fill in some information. So I thought I liked it better as a collaboration. I've done full scripts, not nearly as many as I did the Marvel style plots and then scripts, and I can do them, but at a certain point when you're doing a full script, it's like spend a little more time and write a book.
That is a good point about it, because there are things where like I have a toss up when I'm thinking about doing like I want to do this as a comic, or should I write a book, because I want to describe a lot more of what's happening here, things like that. But tell us more about your narrative work, because you do a lot of science fiction writing now, right?
It is all science fiction, or you could call it science fantasy, sort of in the Star Wars vein, because I'm not writing hard science fiction. I'm setting this way in the future, and then I just make stuff up.
That's the best part about it.
That's right. And I can use words like blaster, and everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm really aiming for is sort of modern takes on science fiction from the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Oh wow, okay.
My tagline for my author's website is Golden Age Science Fiction, Digital Age Author.
Oh wow, okay.
And that's kind of what I'm aiming for. Is I've got good guys. They're not perfect. They're not holier than thou. Never make a mistake, sort of thing. But I've got good guys, I've got bad guys. The good guys win. The good guys get the girl. If there's a girl to be got at the end, the good guy's going to get one, unless the main character's a girl.
Yeah.
I write. I don't know. Did you ever read the Edgar Rice Burroughs Mars series?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay, so Sword and Planet or Planetary Romance, I'm a huge fan of that. So my first 3 books in what I call the Scout series, they were just in that era.
Oh, wow.
And I've got 8 books total in there. This is the most recent one of them. They all of my books, by the way, stand alone. I hate books that you finish and you're like, now I have to wait a year and a half for the next book. So they all wrap up their storylines, and but I've got an 8-book series that's effectively planetary romance. You've got the guy that ends up on the lost human colony, and so we've got it. I use the rule of cool. We got swords. I've got lighter than air airships because they're cool, I tried to channel, John Carter's from Earth and on Mars, so he's got massive muscles. So I have this technological thing called Boost that the Scouts have that gives them a very brief period, like a minute or 2, of superheroic strength and speed. But, if they overuse it, they can kill themselves, sort of thing. So I put some restrictions. It's just fun adventure, and I've introduced new characters and then featured them as main characters. I'm at this point where the Princess Scout is actually the daughter of the main characters in my first 2 books.
Okay.
So it's on her first accidental adventure, which was compared in a review favorably to a 60s Star Trek time travel episode, which, quite frankly, is what I was aiming for.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So thank you so very much for the time. Like, say, is there a place where we can find you, your work, or anything as well?
Well, you can find all of my books, all of my stuff on my website, henryvogelwrites.com. That's Vogel, by the way. And I'm also, everything's on Amazon. Any place that carries the digital books, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, they'll have them. We also have print books, but they're print on demand, so you'd have to, they'll be a little more expensive, but you can order those from any place that sells physical books will also include those.
All right, that's so great. Thank you so very much for your time. And, of course, I'm going to pick up a book as well. I'm probably going to pick up this one here, and I
call that one My Star Wars.
Oh, perfect. So, yes, I'll definitely get into that. So, yeah, I'll get you guys back when I have somebody else new to talk to, all right? Whew. All right, I want to take a quick second. It's been a really good Charlotte Minicon so far. I have been walking around with all that stuff. Luckily, I had to move my car, so I was able to put the huge omnibus that I got from Chuck Brown for Bitterroot down. That was giving my arms such a workout. I haven't been conning, or I haven't gone to a con like as a spectator in quite some time, so really wasn't like prepared to carry that much. But I know how I buy, especially when it comes to comic book shit. So yeah, it is interesting. The mix of creators and everything that are out here. I've been loving to see all of the comic books, all of the fans, the people, the readers, the families, really, like getting into all of this, the cosplayers that are out here. I miss con culture. I miss being able to pull up to a con and just have fun, man. I was telling one of my friends, I was like, I haven't even gone long box diving. There are dollar comics here, and I haven't even gone there yet. I've just been walking around, meeting creators, meeting writers, and I can't wait to dive into the actual like long boxes and go into these like old finds and so see what these comic shops have to offer. All these comic shops are here in the North Carolina area, probably in Charlotte area as well. So I definitely will be getting some lists together so I know where I want to go, where I want to set up shop as like a LCS for me. I haven't gotten an LCS since I came up to Charlotte, so I need to look into that and see if I can find a new home in my new home. So yeah. Oh man, I'm taking a lunch break. I have some dope food from the Kuya Bear truck. It's Filipino food. I got some pork skewers and some lumpia. So I happen to have some lumpia. But I'm gonna go ahead and get back to eating, and I will catch you guys when I'm back in the floor for round 2. All right, see you soon. All right, I am back again. They're podcasting in the trenches, and I am here with Ryan Oakley. I want to go ahead and let them introduce themselves and tell them about their work and everything, but say what's up to the people. And
hey, y'all. So, yeah, I am a comic book artist and illustrator. This kind of wasn't always my path. I thought I was going to be a doctor, and that didn't happen, and I got back into doing art. I was doing more like political and civic activism type art for different organizations like Women's March, and from there I was doing portraiture, and then eventually was able to do work for Lifetime TV and Adobe, and after that I got to meet Sanford and Rico Renzi when Bitterroot was just coming out, and Sanford gave me this challenge to do some fan art of the character Blink, and so I did, and I posted it, and David Walker saw it and he loved it, and so it was put in the back of their 3rd issue and this curated section that they had, and so from there I was like, yeah, I think I want to continue doing this, and so yeah, and so that's what
I love that. So you said you were originally going to be a doctor. Crazy. I was set up to be a veterinarian when I was first getting into like college and everything like that. But now I'm podcaster, writer, all that other stuff I told you. But yeah, it's like very interesting how life takes you. Like when you were making that transition, like what did you know like after the Bitterroot publishing or so? How did you feel like, okay, like is this, I need to do this? Like what were those thoughts?
I think after that, it was just like validation for my art in general. So I think at that moment, I wasn't really set on comics, but I did know that I needed to like improve and get better. So that kind of like took me on this whole new journey of relearning my art and drawing and trying to get better and drawing everything. So yeah, and I was still grappling with trying to figure out how to be in the medical field at some point, but then eventually I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do, because then like a couple years later, that's when I got the Lifetime TV project, and then from there I was able to work with Adobe, and specifically Adobe Fresco, and so that was just like more confirmation that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. So
and that's the big thing. When you have that calling, like it, we've ignored it from time to time. And we're like, I gotta pay bills, I got life stuff to do, but there comes a point where it's like, okay, I don't need to make this a what if anymore. And being within this space, a black woman within like the comic book world, the illustration world in general, like navigating through that, like how has that been for you currently? Because I know like we have a big push for diversity, but we still have a lot of struggles. Like what's been your take?
For me, getting the Lifetime TV project was part of those pushes for diversity. The producer was trying to create a project centered around women and women of color. And this was like the time of George Floyd, and so a lot of companies and people were becoming aware of racial discriminations that was like going, against black people that we, of course, knew was happening, and so they were trying to right this by creating these different campaigns. But shortly after that, a lot of that kind of stopped, So hopefully there will be a new push for more diversity. Who knows? But I think people should still kind of do it themselves and put out their own work and put themselves out there. So
okay, I love that. So where can we find you and your work online or wherever you want to get it from?
You can find me on Instagram at Ryan Oakley Art, and on Blue Sky as Ryan Oakley Art as well. And then in my bios, I have like links to my portfolio and different things as well.
All right, perfect. So, guys, go ahead and check out on Blue Sky and also on the internet. Get to that link. Go to the portfolio. Get some art. It is so amazing. I'm looking at so many different little pieces and prints that I'm deciding on what I want to buy. I did talk with her about the dual power bomb one, so I might be a little bit biased right now, but I do see a Riri. The Storm Frame Museum glass is calling me, but I know my wallet is like, hey, we spent a lot. We bought an omnibus from Chuck. But yeah, we'll see what I get. I'll show y'all in the things. But yeah, thank you so very much for your time, and thank you for being out here, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I am back, and then right now I am standing in front of two powerhouses right now. They have told me a little bit about what's going on, but I would love for them to inform you about what's going on. I'm here with Danny Quick and Morgan Iverson, so they are with, well, you know what? I'm going to let them inform. I'm going to let them tell you. Say what up to the people, y'all.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Danny J. Quick, CEO of Fourth Wall Productions, also founder of Bequest Studios. Me along with Morgan Iverson, Ro Lamb, and Wally McNair. We are four creators who are here in North Carolina and Atlanta, and we are, making amazing stories, man. We've been doing superhero stories for a long time. Now we're branching out to an epic fantasy called the Kadar Chronicles. The four of us have been working on it for a few years, and we're finally to the point where we want to share it with the world. And, we're really having fun with that. So in addition to Ace Blade, King Supreme, and Lumberjacks and the superhero stuff that we do, we definitely want you to check out Kadar Chronicles. What you got to say about it, Morgan?
Yeah. So, we've been at this for a while. Danny drug me into it. He made me against my will. I'm lying. It wasn't against my will. At first, it was against my will. Then I changed my mind, came up with the idea for Lumberjacks, and we've been building ever since. So now we've been in this about 12, 13 years. Met my boy Wally and Ro, those my brothers, and we decided to found Bequest Studios. So we've got Airtime for under Bequest. We've got Ballad of Black Rose under Bequest, Pakuma, and the first collaborated work is the Kadar Chronicles. Definitely want to make sure we're pushing that because we're really excited about that story.
Okay. So, for those who aren't familiar, so with Ace Blade and Lumberjacks, tell us a little bit about those. Those feel like a bit of a flagship or so with it.
Absolutely, man. So Ace Blade is a story about a man who believes he's the best fighter in the world. And if you've ever believed in yourself, you know that you really have to prove it to yourself before you can prove it to anybody else. So he decides to put on a mask and go fight supervillains in Vegas City in order to prove, his ability. But he doesn't have any superpowers, so he's fighting against all these people just out there with his fists. And then Lumberjacks is a story about an Ethiopian refugee who's running from his destiny. He wears this necklace that gives him abilities depending on which gem he unlocks the trials for. Right, Mort?
Yeah. Lumberjacks is pretty much the story. I tell people Lumberjacks is the story of the first arc about sleeping giants. I really believe that all of us have a sleeping giant inside of us. All of us have a special gift that the world needs from us, but a lot of things in our life, whether it be trauma, whether it be other ambitions or other things, can block you from the purpose that you ultimately have. At Lumberjacks, you're watching them go through the process of trying to overcome the trauma that he's come through in his life to become the hero that he might be willing to be.
You better preach, Morgan.
Okay. I like that. I like that indeed. So I know you guys gave me some info on both of the Kickstarters. So Kadar Chronicles said we had a couple days left on this one, but if you are able to make it to the Kickstarter, I'll put a link in the description and everything. But if you are able to do that, go ahead. Check that out. You'll be able to get a special poster, 12 by 18 print that's available for this Kickstarter. As well, Ace Blade 10, right? Issue 10 has a Kickstarter that's going to be starting up in April. I'll put that link and everything as well in there for you guys. So yeah, so is there anything else coming down the pipeline that you guys are excited about?
Oh man, plenty. We got so many things coming out right now, but we decided we just got to focus on Ace Blade and the Kadar Chronicles right now. I am thinking about doing an Ace Blade anthology because I just talked to Stephanie Williams, and she said she would be willing to join in on it, as well as Chuck over here, Chuck Brown. So after the 10th issue of Ace Blade, I'm probably going to be doing an Ace Blade anthology where Ace Blade goes to different universes and fights people to get the best weapons to bring back to his city.
That would be amazing because, again, he ain't got no superpowers, but he got hands. He got hands. That's all you need.
It's a superpower to have hands now.
It really is. You know what I mean? Like, all right, so when it comes to being a indie studio, indie comic book publisher, so what are some things that you guys would like to either share or we have a conversation going on right now. I saw on the internet they've been having about a lot of things about how we only get highlighted in February, how we have a lot of characters that just stand around in the background, but they always give us that same, well, oh, if you want your heroes, go make your heroes. We're making heroes. So, well, yeah, of course. So how do y'all feel about things, the comic book landscape as of today as a Black publisher?
I mean, the progress that I've seen, at least in the indie comic community, period, there's a lot of solidarity, both from Black, white, Asian creators. Like, we're really close, but the solidarity among us as Black creators has been amazing. The Black podcast, the Black Comic Lords, my boy, the Foretales podcast, with my boy Danny Quick and Kyron Silva. We got a lot of different outlets out here. Oh, Ernie, Blurred Without Fear podcast. We got a lot of resources out there that are not able to project other voices, and Ernie is big. Like, for him to have the platform that he does, he has no issue letting us come through. We're promoting the Kickstarter. Same thing with Wally, same thing with Ro, and it means a lot to us. Kickstarter has been huge for all of us, you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be where we are today without Kickstarter and y'all support, so we really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man, I think for us, I think it's just very important that we put our money where our mouth is. We always talk about we want, representation. We always talk about we want more projects that feature stories and creators like us, but we don't always come out and support them. And I think that starts with, us. I think that starts with us putting the word out there, actually getting on here and talking to people like you who are willing to do interviews and stuff with us and to get the word out. Because if they don't hear about it, they can't support it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for having this platform and using your platform to come around and talk to folks like this, because that is really, really important, especially today.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I am just honored that I get to chill out and hang out with people like Stephanie Williams and Chuck, and being able to talk with you guys. Because as a reader, as a person who has been a comic book nerd all my life, being able to see the come up as well, because I always tell people I've known Stephanie since 2013, 2014, when we were just podcasting, and she was like, oh, nobody writes Nubia, nobody does this, and now I'm now look at her, and it's it's literally it's about putting that information out there, putting the people out there, and I love that you guys are able to have these comic book characters, have these worlds, have these stories, to where we can get it out to the people. So I want to thank you guys indeed. All right. All right, is there any way right now we can get in touch with you guys outside of the Kickstarter?
So if you want to find me online, our website is fourthwallpros.com, but I am at the Ace Blade on all social media platforms. And Morgan?
I am all over the place on social media platforms because I couldn't get at the Ace Blade. You know what I'm saying? If I try at the Lumberjacks, won't nobody listen to me. I'm not popular enough yet. So on IG is Morgan Iverson on IG. On TikTok is The Lumberjacks. And the easiest way to find us is go to fourthwallpros.com. It's got all our social links. We're both we had the most followers on TikTok, so that's a good place to follow us.
Okay. All right, I want to thank you guys so very much for podcasting in the trenches with me. Again, I'll definitely be in touch with you guys as well. All right, man. All right, and I'm back with another part of the illustrious studios that you guys just met. So this is the artist, Wally, right? Yeah. Wally McNair, and as I said, he is the one who is literally the hands that draws, like I said, Lumberjacks and Ace Blade. So I wanted to kind of let him introduce himself, kind of tell you a little bit about what he's got going on.
What's happening? Name's Wally McNair. Originally from Lumberton, North Carolina, but raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I do a lot of illustration work with Fourth Wall Studios. We also have a joint studio, Bequest Studios, and then I have my own Once Emperor Studios, where I produce books like Coke, produced King Supreme with Danny Quick. Also do Pakuma, which is a new book we put out summer last year. Should be ending the summer of this year. But I'm a full-time illustrator, freelance illustrator, concept artist, character designer. So, stay busy, doing as much as I can. 15 years straight of just putting in this work, Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Pakuma. I'm looking at it. It's giving me some Kill Bill, Bruce Lee vibes, man.
Yeah, paying homage to Bruce. Bruce Lee, one of the philosophers and great hand-to-hand combatants out there. But the story itself, Pakuma is a a retelling of the classic Shakespearean tale, Romeo and Juliet. It's just in this world we're dealing with AI that ends up having to take over certain parts of the world to actually save it, not destroy it. And a love story about two characters whose families have been at war for years, but one of them wakes up one morning and he's no longer human. He's now got a giant bear head and a vendetta against the brother of the person who he loves most. So the story pretty much goes through the trials and tribulations of what it is to love someone and how reactions happen out of love. But it's a story of redemption, love, and revenge.
Oh, wow, that's amazing, bro. Yeah, and you said this should be ended up this summer. How many issues are out right now? Because I see 2 here. Okay.
2 issues out now, and it's going to be 2, so it's a mini-series. 2 issues out now, 2 issues coming. Hopefully the 3rd issue will be ready by June, July, and the 4th issue will go into the fall. And then I'll re-release the trade version of it that'll have some bonus material.
Okay. That is dope. So, tell me more about the Fourth Wall Studios, like how you guys kind of got together and everything, and how because again, I noticed this whole line down here is all the crew. So
yeah. So Fourth Wall, I met those cats years back at a Heroes convention. So this is the Heroes mini con, but they also have the big Heroes con that happens in June. So me and Danny met there. Then he brought Morgan over, you know what I'm saying, who was talking about, you know, the Duke Blue Devils and all that craziness. Because, you know, for some reason he think that's a good team to go for. But and then our bro Ro was already building what he was building. He started building out Scarlet Ranger. I worked on a project called Own a Scar with him, which you can find on his website. And we just started realizing, like, you know, we always look out, support each other. The community tries to rock with each other, but why don't we come together and kind of start building more? Because anytime we're doing something, we normally tap in with each other anyway. So it just got to a place where it was like, well, let's also build a studio out where we can also create projects together, not just give feedback and assist each other, you know, from a distance, but let's actually like run the ball up and down the court, pause, and, you know, score together. So we just started building out Bequest Studios, and that's what birthed Bequest Studio. We all still have our individual studio houses where we do projects, and then we have Bequest where we do joint projects.
Okay, that's amazing. Because again, it's all about that community, all about the solidarity, and like you said, you guys have been working so well together. It might as well like bring the community together to build something bigger. So yeah, that's a huge thing. So yeah.
So I mean, that's a big part of all of it, man. You go through these artist alleys, most of the time, most of the artists in some form or fashion know each other, you know, rock with each other. You know, you have some sore thumbs in there sometimes, but we don't focus on that. We focus on the cats who are really trying to do something, build something, especially in a space where we're not always the faces that you get to see. Yeah. So making sure that we're telling stories that connect, that build, you know, and stories that hopefully other people can relate to. The same way that we grew up loving Spider-Man and Static, building new characters that the new kids can grow up with, you know, their kids can grow up with, and building new legacies, you know what I'm saying? Like, DC and Marvel is great, nothing against that, but we're independent, we own this, we control this, we build this, and we're building it from a place that's authentic. I'm not saying no one else isn't out there with the other big 3, big 2, whatever, but we focused on doing what we come to do, you know.
And that's amazing. Like, again, that's really what it's all about. Like, I love seeing stuff like that, being like grassroots, build it up from the ground. So yeah. So where can we find you online if we want to see your work or be able to pick up some of the comics and so?
Me personally is at Wally V. That's at WOLLYV on Instagram, and from there you can go into my bio and it links to the other social medias. And my website is onceempress.com, but that's also in the bio. Fourth Wall is fourthwallpros.com.
Yes.
Yeah. Not that I need to shout them dudes out because they be tripping, but you know. And Rolam.com.
We appreciate it though.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the fam, you know. So yeah, for sure.
All right. So also as well, I see you got the Mad Villain on. Also, I'm wearing a version of it as well. Got Parappa the Rapper. Thank you so very much. Yeah, I got a Parappa the Rapper MF Doom collab. So how's music been a inspiration to you in your art or so?
Man, I mean, so I came, you know, I grew up on hip-hop. I grew up on music in general, you know, my mom and dad playing the music that they came up on, but also just like hip-hop has always been a core foundational element for expression, for, you know, telling stories. So for me, hip-hop, art, skate culture, like all these things are a community and culture that kind of just intertwines, you know. So Wu-Tang, Outkast, Nas, Biggie, Pac, like all of that was a part of me growing up. And of course I knew about the cats that came before them because my dad and others who listened to them and introduced me to them, the Rakims, the Coogee Raps, the LLs, you know. But it's just growing up knowing that the music told stories too. And even when you look at the Wu-Tang and members of the Wu that had names like Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider, and Iron Man, Tony Stark, you know, we've always kind of walked hand in hand, Doom being multiple characters throughout his career of music. Yeah. So, same thing with Madlib, and so for us, it's that same thing. Like we put out books that had scores and soundtracks because we know that the music and the visuals together make a whole different emotion, a whole different feeling. But yeah, bro, like graffiti, anime, music, all of that just was a part of that backdrop that brought peace to a chaotic world. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So again, thank you so very much for sitting with me, man. Of course, like I said, I love that. I'm gonna be able to definitely pick up something from here today, and we'll definitely plug everything. I'll go ahead and get the info in the description down below so you guys can go check out his Instagram, check out all his links and everything like that. Go ahead and support Pa Kuma, and as well, just check out his art in general. It's dope. It is amazing. So yeah. Of course. Thank you so much. All right, we are back, and I'm back with another Fourth Wall Studios writer and comic book creator. So I'm with Rolam. He is here with his book, Scarlet Ranger. I want to give him a chance to introduce himself, and introduce the book to you guys. So say what up to the people, man.
What's good? What's good? How y'all doing?
Yeah, good. So tell us a little bit about Scarlet Ranger and what you got going on.
Yeah. So my name is Rolam. I'm a writer and creator of the Scarlet Ranger, which is a superhero comic book series about a young man who inherits the title of Scarlet Ranger from his grandfather. The story picks up when his grandfather's greatest enemy breaks out of prison. And so we follow this young man as he's learning how to protect his family, protect his city, but ultimately protect the legacy that his grandfather left for him.
Oh, wow. That is dope. So it is a story about legacy, but a coming-of-age story as well, because it looks like he's no older than like a Miles Morales or like a young Peter Parker.
Right. Yeah, I think the thing about this story is ultimately it's about learning how to honor the traditions that came before, but also blazing your own trail at the same time. The way I grew up, my dad was a pastor. He was a basketball player, professional basketball player. So everybody thought that that's what I was going to do when I grew up. And as I got older, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So it's just learning how to, like I said, honor the people and the legacy that came before you, but also saying, hey, I'm gonna be my own person and honor that in my way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's really a big story to undertake, because when you are dealing with like a legacy character, it's always going to be something that like, oh, well, why didn't you do it this way, or why didn't you take this take? But here, you're giving us a fresh start for somebody who's learning the ropes, and we don't have all of the backstory, but he's blazing his own trail. So what are some things that you have been enjoying about seeing your growth over the issues?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is, one, just getting better as a storyteller with each issue, learning more about the craft of writing, and then also seeing the mistakes that I'm making and then being able to say, okay, I know how to tackle this next time, you know what I'm saying? And then outside of the actual book, just the relationships that you build with the people in comic books, because it's such a collaborative medium, and you really can't do this by yourself. And so building relationships with the people and building creative partnerships has really been one of the things that I'm most grateful about.
That's one thing that I really have been like very touched by with Fourth Wall, because I was talking with Danny, talking with Morgan, talking with Wally, and you guys really have like come together and like made this powerhouse of a small studio to give back to other creators, other things like that, and to give yourselves, like I said, okay, that hand up, because we all we got. And if we're not helping each other, what are we doing out here? So yeah. So tell me more about like your involvement with Fourth Wall and the guys over here.
Yeah. So, when I first came into comic books, they had already been doing this for years before me, and so they were always guys that I looked up to, that I admired, that I really was modeling, my career after. And so I think I met them for the first time. Actually, I think we was here at this mini-con. This was probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And we were just cool, you know what I'm saying? Leaving that mini-con, they were just like, hey, we building this thing. We want you to be a part of it. And for me, it was a no-brainer, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I had already known who they were. I was familiar with their projects. I had supported them before. And so I had learned so much from them. And I'm like, I want to be around that more and learn and continue to learn and grow. And in any way I can help them as well, I just want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it's about for me.
Wow. Yeah, because, again, I really love the community dynamic of it. And when you have people like that who want to see you grow and you get excited about the passion that you all guys have. Like, it just makes nothing but beautiful art, man. So as like I said, you're more fresher into the comic book industry. How have you been feeling, like I said, coming up as a prominent comic book writer and trying to get your name out there? Like, what are the things that you've been trying to tackle or just like noticing a lot?
As a part of like being new to the industry? Yeah, I think, like I said before, relationships are just so important. Building and having people around you that, like you said, you want to have people around you that want the best for you, but also giving that in return, right? So anybody I come in contact with, I always want to, however I can help them, however I can serve them and say, look, I want to see you go to the next level, giving that to them. And then also finding people that reciprocate that. I recognize that not everybody's going to reciprocate that. And I recognize that the people who don't aren't necessarily my community. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? And so just learning how to foster those relationships and collaborations, I think that's key for growth. It's been key for me to continue to grow. And so I think that's the biggest thing for me.
It really is. And we want to go ahead and find your work. How can we get in touch with you either on the internet or so?
Yeah, you can find me at rolamb.com, ROLAMB, like a baby sheep. You go there, everything is there. My Patreon, my Substack, social medias, email, anything you want is at rolamb.com.
Okay. All right, so I'll put that description at the bottom. So, yeah, go ahead and check them out. Check out Scarlet Ranger. I'm looking at 3 issues right now. Are there any more coming down the pipeline?
Absolutely. We're working on the 4th issue. That'll be the last issue of this arc, so I'm super excited to get that done. And so we're looking to really start production on that in the next month or so.
Okay, great. So go ahead and get in touch with him. Get on the wagon. I want to go ahead and get me probably all 3 of the issues so I can catch up on the stories before number 4 comes out. But yeah, I want to thank you very much, man. Thank you for taking time out to talk with me.
Appreciate you, Bobo.
Yeah. All right. So, I think I'm going to call it a day. I think this has been a great Charlotte Minicon. I've walked around a lot today, and I've also talked to a lot of people. I want to let you know that every creator or illustrator or writer that I talked to today, I bought something. That is how you support your local comic community. Buy something. Go to your comic book shops. Go to these conventions. Go to these vendors. Buy something. Make sure that you're supporting them with not only your words and your likes and follows, but with your money, man. Do that. It's all about giving back and giving into and feeding into the people that are going to be making and creating. How you doing? Yeah, making and creating things that you love. And if you want to see more of it, they have to be able to pay for more of it, man. So I think, I'm going to call it a day. I didn't buy any dollar comics or anything like that. I'll stop by a local comic shop or something probably a little bit later and do all of that stuff. But I brought a lot of great indie comics. I brought a lot of great creator-made comics. I am so happy I got the omnibus of Bitterroot from Chuck today. That was highlight of my day. I have not drunk water since I left home because I left my water at home, and I don't think I need to pay that much for water at a con. So yeah, I'm gonna go get hydrated. I've been talking all day. I've been walking. I've been buying. My wallet is screaming at me. So yeah, I still need to run some errands for my down self. So I'm gonna figure out what the next steps for me are. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Podcasting in the Trenches. I'm going to try and edit this up as quickly as I can. I'm walking out, so if it sounds echoey and weird, that's what's happening. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Podcasting in the Trenches. I've been your friendly neighborhood nerd, the Bobo, and I will catch you guys at the next convention, vending, whatever it is, man. All right, peace.